Hello, I'm Bruce Hollinger, and I'm the managing partner at WiSys. Today I'd like to introduce you to WiSys and a new product directive of operational performance management based on three key initiatives of monitor, analyze, and act. Now WiSys has been working on this concept for some time, but it's not a new concept to WiSys. If you were to Wikipedia Operation Performance Management, you would find similar application areas such as enterprise performance management and business performance management. Now these areas are in essence the merging of several past ERP tools and concepts, such as your base ERP transactional engine, business intelligence, notification services, and financial modeling and analysis. Companies like SAP and Oracle have enterprise performance management initiatives, but focus more on the financial side. WiSys is more operationally focused, so we've chosen to focus our directive on operational performance management. Now you might hear me substitute the term business performance management from time to time throughout this talk. Now I can tell you, in almost 30 years of working with ERP solutions, this is absolutely one of the most exciting evolutionary changes I've seen to the ERP space. So let me go on and talk to you about experience in terms of both your experience with WiSys and the experience that WiSys has as an organization. Now the first bullet's kind of long, but what it is, it's a portion of our positioning statement that's been on our website for several years. And it starts off by saying that WiSys is redefining how you leverage your investment in Macola Systems by way of providing you a way to enhance your business agility. Of course, we're going to be talking about a new product here called Agility, and really this is all about being agile as an organization. But to give you that agility, we do that through a philosophy of delivering real-time ERP, and ERP that's really focused purely on Macola. Now, when I talk about real-time is really key to operational performance management. What's it mean to us? Well, it means moving beyond using ERP as just a recording solution to balance your inventory or generate financials. It's the concept of creating a live environment. No negative inventories, high level of customer service satisfaction and confidence in shipments, production schedules, inventory availability. Now just imagine a real-time and live decision support environment where data can be viewed, is accurate to the minute and hour to make operational decisions and to make this a reality. That's what operational performance management is all about, and it's about an experience and a commitment that we've had on our website for quite some time. I'd also like to talk to you about WiSys. We're a company really with a vast amount of Macola experience. And that experience really goes all the way back to Progression version 1. We have 8 people at WiSys, with several of the founding developers working for us. We also have a full-time help desk, but mostly I would like to describe WiSys as a commercial software development company who focuses exclusively on Macola ERP. I'd like to talk about where operational performance management is going, but in a broader sense where ERP is really going. But the value of all this is about continuous performance improvement, as I have here on this slide. Now I can say in this challenging economy, everyone is focused on doing more with less. So the way we do that is by continuous improvement of our organization. So how do we do that? Well, we start by modeling. Okay, we set some quantitative goals. We determine what it is we need to do to improve our organization. And then that's the first level. And then we set up KPIs, or key performance indicators. And these are based usually on tangible and intangible data. It's bringing together the tangible data from Macola and other intangible data from other tables or information you would have in your database. So you would set up, like a standard KPI would be like an accounts receivable turn. An accounts receivable turn KPI, like many KPIs that we define within our system, many of those are standard to everybody, but most companies have their own unique KPIs, and those KPIs are going to change and evolve over time. I mean, if we're going to focus on continuous improvement, then our key performance indicators must be moving bars, moving targets, always moving the bar higher. So that we need an information system that's going to provide us a business intelligence layer that's going to allow us to set up dashboards and create KPIs and evaluate from a management, high-level executive point of view what it is we want to do as an organization. But then we need to move further than that. We need to create a framework so that we can analyze and inform the users, the knowledge workers, the people on the production floor. We need to reach the people on the desktops, customer service. Desktops will be down on the production floor. We need mobile computing devices if we're going to reach out to the warehouse. And we need to create queries of information. We need to analyze, create business analysis, possibly even do reporting, and then we need to notify. Now, once we've created this analysis environment and we've evaluated data, then we need to take action. So if you can consider the fact that now we've evaluated our data analytically, we've looked at our data, we have the ability to review that data on a desktop, we have on the shop floor, we have the ability to view that data on a mobile device. Now we can take action. We can actually ship product. We can create orders. We can commit inventory. We're empowering users to actually take the information presented to them and create a framework where those transactions can occur in a decision support environment. So if you can think about a tool set that starts with business intelligence, creates the concept of actionable queries, and then go ahead and perform and execute on that information, that's the kind of framework I'm talking about, and the one I want to talk about next. And this is when I talk about our operational performance management stack of products. And it begins with the Microsoft .NET framework. Everything we build in the .NET framework. And from there, the next layer up is the Agility framework. The Agility framework is the result, and I'm going to talk a little more about this, of components and technologies that we've been building for the last 5 to 6 years. And it's allowed us to build the kind of architecture that I want to continue to talk about here to deliver operational performance management. At the very top layer, because that's where I started, is operational intelligence or business intelligence. And this is the top layer. It may be the first component that you need to integrate into your organization. And as we've built our framework, we've thought about the fact that you need to be able to integrate these components one piece at a time. As I'd like to say, you eat the elephant one bite at a time. So you start with the business intelligence layer. This is where you analyze your company's directives, you decide how you're going to focus on continuous improvement, and you set up your analytical information that lets you evaluate your organization and make decisions on how you want to move forward with action. Now the operational execution layer, OX layer, is made up of 5 components, and of those 4 of them are ones that we've been building on for some time. One of the first ones you'll see is warehouse management. Warehouse management is the mobile computing piece of what we offer. And sometimes it goes beyond just mobile computing. We have a lot of standard WMS components, but WMS and warehouse management is also based on a framework and a tool set that can allow you to evolve that product to fit your unique process needs. And then we have PickPack. PickPack is a supply chain management solution, and it involves integrated shipping, integrated EDI, pack structures, the things you would need to do if you were in a full supply chain picking and shipping environment. Shop floor work center reporting and production work center reporting are production floor components. Now all these pieces that are part of the operational execution layer include components that exist usually out in the shipping area. In the warehouse as a mobile solution. They exist as desktops on the shop floor or in the production center. so that every transaction that you record is not recorded in a menu structure, Macola, or recorded on a piece of paper and re-recorded, but it's recorded at the first touch point within the organization where these transactions take place. Now this is where real-time really starts to happen. It's where you start to get the real-time transactions into the Macola system. Now the next layer we have here is ACT, which is an acronym for Agile Composite Transactions. What that really means, and I'm going to talk a little more about composite transactions later, but what it allows us to do is take actionable business intelligence grids and interact with those grids with our ACT layer. ACT is really a component of agility and operation intelligence, but it's also a set of components within itself, and I'll explain how all these components come into play in the next slide. Agility is really basically an open whiteboard that like a blank canvas that has lots of components that evolve around it. And those components are made up of things like searches. We have a whole library of searches that we predefine within the product, and you'll see as you define crystal reports or views or graphs or whatever that have interface parameters like a customer range or a vendor range or an item range, that we give you these predefined searches so that we can create this robust user interface to interact with the data. It's also a repository for crystal reports. I know many times one of the problems you have is trying to manage all your crystal reports and be able to get them onto the desktop and create security. Well, agility, crystal reports is another component of agility, and you can define those reports. They can be your reports, and then you can just store those in agility, manage them within agility, and deploy them across your enterprise. We have dashboards, as you would expect at the top level. We have grids, pivot analysis, calendar views, graphs, and of course the key part, ACT, which is a set of components within itself and lets us create actionable grids. So we talked about business intelligence. Well, if I had a business intelligence layer, one of the things I mentioned first was we would need to develop key performance indicators. So I have the dashboard component of agility, and that would allow you to set up not just a static dashboard, but a drill down dashboard. So I can have things like aging buckets on here and then drill into that aging. And in this case, I'm kind of doing that where I show another screen that I've got aging by customer, I've got aging for an individual customer, a drill down into an invoice, and from an invoice into a crystal report. So the neat thing about this environment is everything's drill down related. And a lot of these components are predefined within the product when we ship it to you. And our concept is we predefine a lot of this, and then you can copy those components around and use them as templates and expand the system. There's also a very robust user experience where you can take existing grid structures and data within the system, and you as a user can easily change that data, drag columns around. We give you views with just about every column that you can imagine from a table inside that view. Now the agility framework is made up of a set of what we call business objects. Now that's kind of a technical term because an object's really a programming element. But what we've done is we've taken Macola and we've broken it down into its transactional elements. So you have like OE order create, or pick and ship or invoice, or we could have a PO receiving a transaction. And all these transactional elements are components of agility, and they're business objects. And so if you think about just like breaking down Macola into individual transactional pieces and parts, and that instead of having to call that piece or part within a Macola menu structure, I can actually call that component and link it to active grids or link it into a processing environment as I would want to use it within my company. Case in point, I may want to set up a billing grid and say that these are all the orders that I know I have to bill today. Instead of operating off of a billing report and then going back into Macola and transposing that data, think about the concept of I would bring up a list of orders I need to bill and just start clicking through those and automatically billing those because I can link them to a billing transaction, a component, a transactional element of Macola. And of course, all these sit on top of a bin, serial, and lot layer of inventory, and that's supported across every business object we have. They work, again, for all those same elements work for average cost, standard cost, and last cost. And what you'll see if you look at some of our video presentations and everything you'll see that we do as a company, that we have one code set that works for both Macola ES and progression. And this is really important because we look at the entire Macola user base made up of a good portion Macola ES customers and a good portion progression customers. And we have progression customers who would like to upgrade to Macola ES. So we have one code set for everything we do. And if you were to build things within our tool set or implement some of our applications that really just require configuration, then you just point those applications at from a progression database to Macola ES database with very little upgrade effort whatsoever. Last thing I'd like to talk about is I talked about composite transactions. And what does that mean? In Macola, you have different types of transactions, and not all of you use production POP or production order processing, so this is my example. But I think a lot of people understand the concept of production. In Macola, to do production, as you would do a lot of transactions in Macola, you would first create the POP order. And then maybe in that same screen or another screen, you would go release that POP order. Then you would go to another screen and you would produce the POP order. So these are three independent transactions that in Macola you would have to do within maybe 2 or 3 screen sets. That would require transposition of data. Say I want to work on order 150, I'd have to work on order 150 3 different times. But what if I just want to do that all at once? I just want to create, release, and produce all at one time. That's what we call a new business process or a composite transaction, where we would string 3 transactions together and create a whole new Macola transaction. We do this in such a way that we're clearly not violating Macola business rules, but we created a whole new Macola business rule. We could have done a production of a POP work order, but POP work orders don't have the concept of scrap. So I could have interjected a inventory transaction at the same time into that whole group and created a whole new composite transaction of POP production with scrap. So we can take and string different Macola transactions together and create the concept of new transactions. That's what we call composite. The composite joining of Macola transactions and the creation of a whole new set of application capability. So if you want to learn more about agility and about operational performance management, please visit our website at www.wisys.com. I think you'll find there's a lot of video recordings out there that show you or can give you live demos of the application themselves. Thank you for the time.